Hey Facebook world, hope you're well. Going to be talking all today about constipation and laxatives and why you shouldn't be taking them, what you can do instead. As always, if you're watching later on YouTube, please hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our content. On Facebook, if you think you like this and you think people will get value from it, please comment, like, share it to people you think would benefit from it. And if you're on Instagram, like, share it as well. We have been shadow banned on Instagram, as I mentioned before, so if you can like, comment and share our posts, that'd be fantastic to try and alleviate that ban, because there's lots of information that needs to go out to people that's not getting there. And even on Facebook, I feel like we've had a little bit of a ban because our posts in the last day or two haven't been going out to as many people as they normally would. But anyway, I digress. So today we're going to be talking about constipation and laxatives, and it's something that is a very prominent problem in the world. So research has shown 85 to 95% of the world population today has some sort of constipation. And I mean, ideally, you should be having 1 to 3 bowel movements a day. You should be moving 12 inches of stool a day, whether that's 1 bowel movement of 12 inches, 2 bowel movements of 6 inches, or 3 bowel movements of 4 inches. And if you don't actually expel the waste in your body, then you actually get a condition called auto-intoxication, or just self-poisoning, and it can be really, really bad for the body when that off-gasses. And people generally turn to laxatives when they can't pass stool normally, which is a very, very bad thing to do, long-term especially, and even short-term, because it teaches the body to not contract naturally, which is like the peristalsis, which is how the colon moves, how it removes waste. And if you keep on taking laxatives, I've known people to take them, some people have been taking 15, 20 years, their body has to learn how to even remove that waste again, which is completely, it can be a very hard process to get the body to get back into rhythm. The body's like anything, it will use it or lose it. And if you don't use certain things, certain aspects, it will just stop doing it because it wants to find its natural, sort of the easiest path. This is why it's really important. Okay, and some of the key things that lead to people taking laxatives without even looking at other things that they could be doing. People taking laxatives, but they're still drinking fizzy drinks or sodas, if you're from America, soda pops, having refined processed foods, foods fried in PUFAs, polyunsaturated fatty acids, like vegetable oils, having medications or drugs which can greatly impact the gut, having artificial sweeteners which can impact the gut lining, not exercising enough, even holding on to stored emotions. Is why doing things like emotional freedom technique or other things that can release emotions is important. Journaling, breath work, all that sort of work can really help as well. Okay, and not having enough fibre in their diet. These things could all lead to being backed up. And I've seen, I think the worst person I've ever had come to me, they wasn't having a bowel movement once, they're having a bowel movement once every 20 to 30 days, and that's extraordinary. But most people, even when I say people on my calls, and they understand, or they're having 1 bowel movement a day, they're not really passing stool. When you're passing stool, it should be well formed, it should be easy to pass, and it should feel satisfying, like nothing's left to come. But that's very seldom the case. It's because people are just constantly, putting in food that their body can't process. For example, fruit's a good idea. Fruit on an empty stomach really does help. Okay, but if you keep on having laxatives, you're just going to stop the body's natural peristalsis, and you're not actually going to be able to pass stool naturally. One of the other things you can do, most people unfortunately sit on the toilet and they sit at a 90-degree angle, where we weren't actually designed to do that. Our knees should actually be probably more at a 45-degree angle. So it's something out there you can use called a squatty potty. So it actually teaches you to sit in the correct position, so it lifts up your legs. But this is why it's really important to understand why you shouldn't be using. This is why gut health is so important as well, because if you're not if your gut health's not correct, these things are going to be an issue. So things like probiotics are fantastic. Fermented foods are fantastic as long as you can tolerate them, because they are very powerful. So you start with like a teaspoon. Probiotic liquids are great, but the main thing, cutting out things like wheat, gluten, pasteurized, homogenized dairy, soy, caffeine, rancid oils. These things are going to go a long, long way to allowing your body to eliminate properly. And once again, these processed foods. I put a post out today. Anything that sits on the shelf for more, or anything that can sit in your fridge for more than a week and doesn't rot, probably not good for you. Especially things that sit on the shelf for months or years at a time. They're devoid of all enzymes, and they're devoid of all enzymes, and they've just been processed so much that they can sit there. Nothing should be sitting on the shelf that long. And if you're eating foods like that, it actually takes your body's energy and life force to even digest them, and that's even if you can eliminate them. So your body should be able to digest, metabolize, assimilate, and eliminate food properly. And it's never going to be doing that if you're having all these toxic foods and drinks, if you're overly stressed, and also if your gut health's not correct. So it's really important to do that. So before you start taking laxatives, if you are on them, I suggest you come off them. Obviously, I'm not a medical doctor, so I can't give medical advice. But I can say if it was me, my dad, my mum, my sister, etc., my brother, whatever it would be, I would say this, come off them slowly. There are things you can take naturally if you find it hard to pass through, things like oxygen-based bowel cleansers. I'm not a big fan of cinnamon husk because it can damage the gut lining, but it's oxygen-based bowel cleansers that are fantastic out there. But you shouldn't have a problem passing stool if you start to take out all the allergenic inflammatory foods, toxic ingredients, and you start eating a diet rich in fresh fruits and vegetables, pasture-raised animals, organic. These things shouldn't be a problem. And you really need to chew your food as well, okay? As I always say, if you take your tongue and you put it on the side of your mouth, that's what you've got down in your gut, and you've got no teeth down there. So it's really important that you chew. And as I said on my post yesterday, the day will have a term, chew your water and drink your food, which basically means if you've got water, so we want it to move it around the mouth because it's how you moves it around in the spleen energy. It's what helps the saliva in your mouth is full of spleen energy. It helps your body to digest it and process it. And if you're going to eat your food, you want to chew it into a paste so your body can actually digest it properly. Okay, so this is why you really don't want to be taking laxatives, because they're just going to be causing issues. And it's just taking a medication to mask a symptom rather than getting to the root cause. So once you start living in line with Mother Nature again, let's talk about, you don't see any animals in the wild with constipation, because they're eating real food. The only animals that have problems are the ones that are in human captivity, because we feed them rubbish. As I mentioned before, like in my earlier post about Lily's Kitchen, which is now been taken over by Nestle, and animal people that are feeding it to their pets are having problems, because Nestle say their product's organic, but they've bastardised the organic certification. They bought it themselves, so now their food is organic. It's why they say, there's no difference between organic and non-organic. It's because their food's the same. They're trying it against the same food. But real organic food, someone that gets has to go through something like the Organic Farmers and Growers or the Soil Association. It takes 3 years to get that certification, so it's real. So that's just why. And then they put, when you're having people like Nestle take over food, they're the whole process or factory that they go through, they're going to have all other foods in there full of allergens that can be mixed into that food, and it causes an issue. So anyway, that's the basic. Okay, also make sure you're hydrated. The best solution for pollution is dilution, so making sure you're hydrated, high quality foods, reducing your stress. Things for your gut like probiotic rich liquids. Stay away from Yakult, that's not what I mean, but high quality probiotics. If you want to go into my website, www.reviveyourself.co, on the shop there, you've got lots of things in there that will really help with your digestion, all high quality, especially the probiotics would be really good. And then reducing any stress, anything you can be holding on to. If you're stressed, it can really greatly impact your gut, okay? So anyway, hopefully that helps people, Shouldn't need laxatives, and you should be passing 12 inches of stool a day, whether that's in 1 bowel movement, 2 bowel movements of 6 inches, or 3 bowel movements of 4 inches. And it should be easy to pass, well-formed, satisfying, and not a problem. Okay, if you have been dealing with gut issues, and this has been an issue for you, and you want help with it, then please send me an inbox here, or an email at ryan@reviveyourself.co, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible, because it's something we've dealt with many, many times before. Everything from, every single gut issue, from constipation, but also irritable bowel disease, celiac, Crohn's, etc. Whatever it is, the way you heal anything in this remit is the way you heal everything. Anyway, I hope that's helped, guys and girls. If you've got any question, one sec, I've got there for Jean. Yeah, and if you change your diet, and if you've been having certain things and you change your diet, you're going to something like intermittent fasting, you may get a little bit of a change in your stool because your body's going to be processing things slightly differently. And it's like when you start adding healthier foods in, it can happen as well because you're actually changing your internal terrain, your gut microbiome. So your body you may even get some diarrhea to start with because your body's actually finally got the nutrients on board to detoxify. Most people don't even have the nutrients on board to detoxify. Okay, so this is why their body constantly, it stores and stores toxins. But it's when you change your diet, your body can actually release, which makes a big difference. So anyway, I hope that's helped, guys and girls. If you do need help, as I said before, inbox here or email at ryan@reviveyourself.co. Otherwise, as always, stay happy, stay healthy. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.